Bi- Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, dear students. In this video lecture, we will discuss about challenge number 8 of food security, which is based on melting water reserves. Melting water reserves. At no time since agriculture began has the world faced such a predictably massive threat to food production as that posed by the melting mountain glaciers of Asia. Mountain glaciers are melting in the Andes, the Rocky Mountains, the Alps, and elsewhere, but nowhere does melting threaten world food security more than in the glaciers of Himalayas and on the Tibetan plateau that feed the major rivers of India and China. Ice melt helps sustain these rivers during the dry season, and the Indus, Ganges, Yellow and Yangtze river basins, where irrigated agriculture depends heavily on rivers. The loss of glacier-fed dry season flow will shrink harvests and could create potentially unmanageable food shortage. Melting water reserves is one of the main threats for the world, and it can also affect food security for the global population. Flattening yields. After several decades of raising grains yields, farmers in the more agriculturally advanced countries have recently hit a glass ceiling. That production ceiling is imposed by limits of photosynthesis itself. In Japan, the long-time leader in raising cropland productivity, the rise in the yield of rice that began in the 1880s essentially came to a halt in 1996. Having maximized productivity, farmers ran into the inherent limits of photosynthesis and could no longer increase the amount they could harvest from a given plot. In China, rice yields are now just 4% below Japan's. Unless China can raise its yield above those in Japan, which seems unlikely, it too is facing a plateauing of rice yields. Yield of wheat, the world's other food staple, are also plateauing in the more agriculturally advanced countries. For example, France, Germany, and the United Kingdom, Europe's leading wheat producer, had been raising wheat yield for several decades. Roughly a decade ago, all three hit plateaus. We have already begun to see the consequences of wheat demand outpacing supply. Corn yield in the United States, which accounts for nearly 40% of the world's corn harvest, are starting to level off. Yields in some other corn growing countries such as Argentina, France, and Italy also appear to be stagnating. Number 10. Little time to prepare. To state the obvious, we are in a situation both difficult and dangerous. The world today desperately needs leadership on the food security issue. Any further progress requires a total restructuring of the energy economy. The gravity and urgency of the tightening food situation is such that we are not looking at a crisis in 2030 or 2050. We are looking at an abrupt disruption in the world food supply that could be just one poor harvest away. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you would understand about food security and 10 challenges. In the next slide, we will discuss about literature of previous research from the authors about food security, and I will also discuss with you about different definitions which have been uh, internationally recognized by international organizations and some authors, so that you will understand food security fully and with enthusiasm. Thank you for watching this video.